Hi everybody, my name is Lisa. This is my little corner where I paint and I enjoy art materials and messing about basically. Today I'm going to talk about acrylics, a personal favourite. I've had to learn how to manipulate acrylics because of my asthma, because an awful lot of the thinning solutions and it just actually, the oils themselves aggravate my asthma. And I don't work in a particularly well enough ventilated space to make me feel comfortable using them, because if it was a separate space from the house, then maybe, but it's in the house, so it's that those fumes are spreading all the way around. So I tend to stick to acrylics. Now, acrylics, one of their features is how quickly they dry. It's one of the things that puts people off them. I personally don't mind, but because I have found ways to make that extend their life. Chief amongst them is this stuff. And it's from, this is the one that I use. I'm sure there's other ones out there, but I like this one. It's Slow Drying Medium from Winsor & Newton. And it's a gel. And you mix it, let me remind myself, 1-to-1 ratio. And it extends the life of an acrylic enormously. Incredible, like today's, like where something would be done and finished in minutes. You can mix up a colour, add this, and it's still going strong a couple of days later. Now the benefits of that are twofold. Number one, you're not using as much actual product. Whereas you'd have to keep mixing stuff up and whacking out colour. This means that you're actually preserving the amount of paint you have in your tube. And that's a great thing, isn't it? Number two, this for me is the most important, is that when you have found the right tone, the right value in a colour for a passage of colour in a picture, when you've got exactly what you want, for me personally, I generally do not know how I've arrived at that. So the longer I can keep that on my palette, the better off everybody is going to be. So this makes an enormous difference. Now, funnily enough, Winsor & Newton make another retarding fluid, but it's through their in-house line Galeria, they know, and it's called the fluid retarder, and it suggests that you don't add more than 25% to a colour, as it can slow it down far too much. No, no, this made actually literally no difference to anything that I added it to. And I've used a fair bit of this. I was throwing it quite liberally down. It made no difference. It was quite startling how little of a difference it made. So if I was to recommend one, stick with this. No. At a pinch I might use it. I keep thinking that I've used it incorrectly, but I don't think so. I don't, for feeling I haven't. The other new, this piece of equipment has made a really significant difference as well. It's an Airtight palette. And I haven't shot it at the moment. Hang on. I bought this from Amazon. 25 pounds, bought it a few weeks ago. Phenomenal difference. It's an airtight seal, so like Tupperware, keeps all the air out, so it's delaying everything. It's, apart from anything else, it's the most efficient use of space. So you've got the lid, there's another palette that fits in there, and in the body of the thing itself there are these little compartments, 1, 2 for mixing, and then wells here for the colours. Just to show you how much of a difference it makes, this greeny black I mixed up 3 or 4 days ago, and I mixed it using the slow drying medium. It's still wet. And the same here. I was using this yesterday, still wet. and it's not a huge amount of paint there. It's a very small amount, and that, if that was just mixed normally on a sort of, like, say this sort of a palette, that would be long gone. That would be over and done with, but it's still wet. The other benefit of this, I have found, is with these different compartments like this, I can keep the piece I'm working on at the moment. There's different tones in it. So there's a warm part, there's a cool part, there's water, there's sky, and I've been able to mix the colours and keep them separate, and it stops me from getting confused and getting muddied up and things getting lost. So that's the other benefit of this. I work in a very small area as well, so I'm limited to the space that I can expand into. So this is fantastic. I've been able to work much more comfortably and more efficiently and feel far less frustrated with myself. So there's those guys. I think that's made the most difference. An incredible addition. It's made a phenomenal difference, and I love it. And I only wish I'd got it sooner. Instead, I went for like a cheaper thing, which was basically a plastic tray with a lid, and then there were these, so for all intents and purposes, it looked like a really heavy watercolour, very thick piece of cold pressed watercolour paper. And it did a job, but it did not do the job that this does. So I'd highly recommend that. There's various versions of it, but that's in principle how it works. And she can't get it to close. I'm such an expert, but believe me, I shut it when I'm finished. Now, the other thing that I discovered are these paints from Golden, and they're slow drying acrylics. Now, to illustrate that, I did some swatches. I got an ultramarine light blue and a Naples yellow. I don't know if I'll do the dab test. I'll show you with a dab. Right, this side, this is the Golden acrylic. I swatched this 15-20 minutes ago, still wet. Nothing. Nada. And that's the Liquitex Heavy Body. Down here, still wet. That's the ultramarine light blue, still wet. And I haven't added any of the fluid to it. There's no fluid added to the other ones. That's them doing their thing on their own. These guys still going strong. So they weren't super expensive. I think it was £7 for 60 mils. And obviously you're going to get far more out of this tube than you would out of the average acrylic tube. In terms of the life of these, you're going to be using far less product. Yes, I think that is all on the topic of how to make acrylics dry less quickly. There must be a more elegant way of putting that, but I can't think of it at the moment. Anyway, please let me know if you have any other suggestions for these guys. I can't remember how much this is. Get through it quite quickly. I'll put the prices and things down below. This is 250 mil. This is the other size, it's 125 mils. Were they like 7 and 10 or something? I'll put all the details below. Again, don't waste your money. Thank you for joining me. Come back again and see me soon. I am going to be discussing some other stuff in another video, so hang around for that. But if you don't have time, drop by and see me again soon. Like, subscribe, come back and see me soon, and tell all your friends, and go and have fun with acrylics in the meantime. So bye for now.